Okay, so, this is the section of geometry of 2.8, is that correct? It's part 2. We're talking about slope and lines and all of those things, and you're working on a worksheet. 2 through 72 even, is that correct?
Yes.
And the back page is completely we're not doing, right? All right. So, we talked about how to graph lines. We talked about what kind of lines there are: positive slope, negative slope, zero slope. What kind of lines have zero slope?
Vertical.
No. Horizontal. What kind of lines have no slope?
Vertical.
The two twins, right? And we got to remember. So I'm just going to throw some things at you. I do want to reiterate standard form is capital AX plus capital BY equals capital C. A and B and C are integers. That means they can't be fractions, right? They cannot be fractions. They cannot be decimals, okay? So A, B, and C are integers. A, B, C are integers. Okay, and A is positive. You know, and that is Mr. Ellis's rule. That is Mr. Ellis's rule. That's not the rule that's supposed to be, but we want it to be positive. A has to be positive. And that way everybody has the same answer. So you got to pay attention. The worksheet tells you what form to put it in. Okay? The next one we have the slope-intercept form. This is the graphing form, and this is y equals mx plus b. This is slope, and this is the y-intercept. Okay. And if they give you the slope of the y-intercept, you just plug it in. Yes?
How do you take like the slope intercept form and put it into standard form?
Okay, we'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, slope-intercept form. How do you get it? You solve for y. So this is exactly the opposite of what Bo just asked. If they give you something in standard form and they want you to put slope-intercept form, you just solve for y. Okay. And then the point slope form. Point slope, you got to have two things to use this. What are they? Point and slope. So it goes y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. What do you plug your point into? Do you plug it in for x and y, or x sub 1, y sub 1?
Y sub 1 x.
That's right. You plug it in for here and here. Make sure you put the x here and the y here. It's really easy to put the x here and the y here because that's the order we read. This is the working man's, right? This is slope and this is my point. So my point is, I'll just write it, x sub 1 is y sub 1, and my slope is m. Okay? So these are the three forms we're looking at. I can almost guarantee you that not many times do you put it in this form. It's either this form or this form. Okay? So, he asked, how do you put something in slope-intercept form? Is that correct?
Yeah, can we do one for our assignment?
Yep. Well, I can do an odd. I won't do an even. Which one are we talking?
45.
45. 45 says, let me read the directions to you. Write the standard form of the equation of each line given the slope and the y-intercept. Number 45, the slope is negative 9/2, and the y-intercept is 4. So what letter do we use for y-intercept?
B.
B. B. Does everybody understand that? If you understand that, that'll help you put it into this. So then you go y equals.
We won't put it in standard form.
Oh, you have to put it in this form first.
It says write the standard form.
Okay?
This form.
I'm going to put it in this form first, and then I'm going to put it in standard form. You have to write it in this form first. You cannot go from just this information to standard form. It doesn't work like that. Okay? So now, I cannot have a fraction. I get rid of all fractions first because I don't like working with them. And I know you're the same. So let's just go right to the cut to the chase. I'm going to multiply everything by the least common denominators. There's only one denominator. That's awesome. Sometimes there's two. okay? Sometimes this has a fraction too, so you gotta look at both denominators or all the denominators to find the least common denominator. Least common denominator in this case is 2. So I'm gonna multiply everything by 2. When I say everything, I mean these 3 terms. Oh, goodness sakes. You're just going crazy here. Okay, so I'm gonna take 2 times y, 2 times the negative 9/2 x plus 4 times 2, or 2 times 4. Okay, that's how I do that. What happens then is I have 2y equals, the 2's cancel, I have a negative 9x plus 8. And now, I'm close to standard form, I've got all the integers. I'm gonna move the negative 9x over in front of the y, the way it's supposed to be. And so I have a positive 9x, because when I move it over, it becomes positive, and that. Now, the only thing I need to understand is this guy positive? If he's positive, you're good to go. And he is. If he's negative, I have to divide everything by
Negative
negative 1. And we're good. And so this would be an equation in standard form that has that slope and that y-intercept. So,
So I have, on 44,
uh-huh.
1/2 x plus y equals negative 1.
What's wrong?
I know, I'm not,
Should be y equals 1/2 x plus a negative 1.
yeah, so then, can I just, since I already have it in standard form, can I just take it, everything times 2?
Say what you have again.
1/2 x plus y equals negative 1.
Yes, you could take everything times 2. Yep. Yep. I get rid of the fractions first, but now is yours positive 1/2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what happens if I give you a point and slope? So like 49. We want the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line through the given point and the given slope. So 49 says I have the point -1, 1, and then I have m equals 1. And every time you see slope, if you would put m instead of slope, it really works nice, because then you realize what it is. Okay, so I have to use this guy right here, right? I have to use this guy, because they gave me a point and slope, hence point slope. See the connection there? Okay, so I'm gonna go y minus what? Be careful here.
What?
1.
1 equals the slope, which is 1 times x minus -1. Does everybody see where I got all those? Okay, this one came from here, this one came from here, and this -1 went there. So now I have y minus 1 equals 1x plus 1. I distribute here and I distribute here. Okay? And now I have to solve it, correct? I have to solve for y, because that's how we put something in the slope-intercept form. That's what the directions ask for. So Uton, I'm going to move the 1 over, so I'm going to subtract a -1 from both sides, right? Correct?
Yep.
So I have y equals x plus 2. This is an equation. This is an equation that has this point and this slope. That's how you do 50, 52. Yes, Addie.
So, what about like the other way that like Bo, you were doing it, where like you spread out y equals mx plus b, and then for the 1 point you just put like, so like that one it would have been the -1, you put that in for x, and then plus, and then it just be b, and then like you put in your slope.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
It's the way that Mrs. Ellis does it.
Yeah.
Just, I came in to ask you and you weren't in your class.
So right.
Oh, she solved for B.
Yeah.
And then you put it in. Yes, you can do that. Yeah, I use point slope.
Okay.
Okay? Because your next one that I'm going to show you is going to be a problem for you, I think, but maybe not. What happens if I get 2 points? For example, like 57. Okay, let's say I have these 2 points, and I want to find, it says write the slope intercept between these 2 points. Finding, so the first thing I need to do is find slope. And slope is change in y over change in x. So here's my y's and here's my x. So make sure you do change in y over change in x. Dang, you get the slope of 1. Now 1 is slope of 1. It's too easy. So you would go ahead and you would put this, you could use either one and you would find b. Okay, I just do this. I go y minus, and I just use 1 of points. I'm going to use this one. Y minus 1 equals 1 times x minus 2. Okay, so I have y, this plus a negative 1, so I'm going to subtract, oh, I might as well do it, y plus a negative 1, my goodness, equals x plus a negative 2. And now I'm just going to subtract a negative 1 from both sides. And I have y equals x plus a negative 1. Okay. Now we talked yesterday about parallel and perpendicular lines, didn't we? Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have the opposite reciprocal slope. Is that correct? All right. We did a little chart, I think, didn't we?
Yep.
I can't remember because actually all my classes are in the same place. So we're going to look at parallel lines and perpendicular. Which is the hardest? So let's talk about perpendicular. All right. So I want the directions for 61 through 72. It says write the slope intercept form, slope intercept. Make sure you read the form. On the test, I have that. The kids do the right thing except they just put it in the wrong form. So I want this form, right? But I'm going to use this guy right here. So let's take a look at 67. 67 says through point -2 and -4 and perpendicular to, this is the symbol for perpendicular. Do you remember that from geometry? Perpendicular to y equals a -2/9 x plus 4. Okay? So, I want a line that's perpendicular to this line. So tell me what my line is. What's the slope of my line? Kyle?
X.
No.
-2/9.
No. They'd be parallel, it'd be a -2/9. Perpendicular. Perpendicular. Listen very carefully, Kyle. Carly?
Is it -9/2?
No. We get close. Gigi? 9/2. So it's, all right, Kyle, let me explain this to you. It's the opposite reciprocal, so it's got to be positive, and then just flip the fraction. That's perpendicular. Parallel is the same, perpendicular is flipped. Correct? All right. So now we're going to do point slope. Y equals -4 equals 9/2 times x minus -2. Correct? And this is this, and awesome. Finally, we get one that's a little bit complicated. It's not that complicated. When I multiply 9/2 times x, I get 9/2 x. And when I multiply 9/2 times 2, what happens to the 2's? They cancel. Plus 9. They
So-
cancel. Yes, Steve?
How come we didn't do the 4? X plus.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
No.
4 is Y.
Yeah, I have to solve for y. I haven't got there yet. So now I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And I get y equals 9/2 x plus 5. And this, I'm now done. I have y equals, this line is perpendicular to that line and goes through that point. Questions? Okay. You sure? All right, I'm going to let you work. I wanted to give you plenty of time to work on this. Jaws, would you shut me down, please? Thank you.